Okay, so to layer up for winter, let's just look at what I have on here really quick. I have on a base layer shirt. Then I have a fairly lightweight fleece. This is a wool fleece. It has a hood, which I think is really important when layering in the winter. So if it's pretty warm outside and I'm running or I'm active, I'm just going to be wearing this layer. I'm not going to have to wear anything else. If I'm hiking and it's kind of breezy and I'm warmed up, I'm probably going to be wearing a layer like this and a vest. This is a super light synthetic vest. It's about as light as you can get. And it's amazing, you don't need much to keep your core warm, especially when you're moving and you're warm. The great thing about this vest is you can take it everywhere. It packs up like this big, and it's something that I don't have to worry about if it gets wet. It often gets pretty sweaty, so it's not super easy to wash. Really thin, it's not real long. I can layer it under everything. I really, really like a vest like this. And I love that it has pockets, okay? Pockets on a vest are a great thing. I have a vest without a pocket, and I hate it. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, I do want to mention a heavier fleece jacket or a heavier fleece sweater. Now, this is kind of a lightweight fleece. Some people would use this, or I would even use this as a base layer, like when really cold conditions. The nice thing about fleece is that you can put it on over other layers and it's warm, it adds insulation, but it's extremely breathable. Much more breathable than a synthetic jacket like this. Okay, so this would kind of be an in-between step between this jacket and having just this in a vest. Okay, so you could definitely like leave the vest on under this and then just put this on over the top. I wear this kind of layering system a lot. I tend to run warmer than a lot of people, so when I have something like this on, especially with a vest underneath, I'm usually good for a lot of conditions. Now, if it's really wet or if it's snowing outside, this is going to wet out pretty fast, okay? But if we're talking dry, cold, breezy conditions, you know, in the 20s and 30s, a lot of time this kind of layering system, especially if I'm moving, is great. And it's easy to take on, easy to take off, easy to vent. Just pull this down. You can vent both layers really quickly. And I do tend to wear something like this quite a bit, just because it's more breathable than like a synthetic jacket that has wind layers. It helps take a lot of that body heat away and helps me to sweat less. Now, what happens if I'm hiking and it's cold, it's windy, and it's snowing, but I'm still pretty warm? Okay, I can wear this, my base layer, my little light sweater, a vest. You may or may not want your vest. And then you can put this on. This is going to block all of that wind. It is amazing how warm a rain shell is when you just put it on. I consider it a vital part of a layering system, summer and winter. It really is a great thing to have. In winter, I highly recommend that your rain shell has pockets. I have a rain shell without pockets. I use it only for the summertime because being able to get your hands in, out of the wind and trap that heat like in a mitten or something is really important. So I really like having this. Now the next layer that I might be wanting to put on would be a jacket. Now this is a synthetic puffy jacket. It does not have a hood. So it's a great piece to layer under a rain jacket or a shell. So on a cold day, if I'm out moving or hiking, I may, if it's got to be super cold and windy, I may have a jacket like this on while I'm moving. Otherwise, I may just put this on, you know, while I'm sitting. But the nice thing about not having a hood on a jacket like this is that it makes it easy to layer under a shell. All this is an old rain shell. And so when your rain shells wet out, you can put new DWR treatments on them, that kind of thing. You can buy that. And this one is so old, it's actually an old Gore-Tex, that it's not a great rain shell, but it's great for winter because I can put it on over everything else and it's going to trap the heat. And unless it's got to be snowing. Like, I've never had this rain shell wet out and get me wet in the winter, but it could happen if it was snowing really hard. So I have this rain shell on. It's also got pockets. It has a hood that I can pull out and pull up. So this rain shell has everything I need in an outer layer. And I'm only going to be wearing this, all of these layers, if I'm like sitting around or something like that. What happens, you've been moving, you've been working hard, and it's time to take a snack break, okay? And this is what I have on. And as soon as you sit down, your heart rate's going to drop, you're going to start to get cool. As soon as you sit down and take a break in the wintertime, what you need to do is layer up. I'm going to put a heavy puffy on. I don't care if I'm really hot. I'm going to put a heavy puffy on because the last thing you want to do is sit down and get cold. It is so much easier to stay warm than to get yourself warmed back up. So keep your core warm. Keep all of this warm. As soon as you sit down and take a snack break in the winter, layer up. And I may put this on and my rain jacket over the top if it's breezy. But this is just a big, thick puffy, way too hot for me, maybe not for you, but for me to be moving around in. It's got to be below 0 before I'm ever moving around in this puffy, okay? So it's very hot. It's got a hood. I'm probably going to sit down, put my hood up, get all cozy down, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to get my snack. And before I start moving again, I'm probably going to take this off, okay? So, when we're moving around, what kind of gloves do you want? I like something that's breathable. So like a lightweight fleece glove, a lightweight synthetic glove is fine, a wool, like some sort of liner glove. Depending on how cold it is, you may want a little bit heavier weight liner glove. You know, it's kind of up to you. But liner gloves are great, something really kind of thin. And especially if you're moving, making sure that it's breathable. It's not like Gore-Tex, or something like that. Now, if it's cold and windy, this may not cut it. So one of my favorite things to do is to have these little lightweight, they're called a rain mitt. This is a Gore-Tex rain mitt. I got it at REI. I got like the size large because one thing I hate are tight winter layers. It cuts off blood circulation. They're hard to get on. They're just not as warm. I can wear this in the wind, and with that little liner glove, it'll keep my hands warm. It's great. If it's spitting snow or snowing, it'll keep my hands dry and warm, which is great. I use these in the summer. If it's cold and rainy and I'm hiking, I can put like a super lightweight, like little liner glove on and these, and I can hike in the rain and my hands don't get freezing. And I'm talking about like, 40, 50 degrees and raining. If you've ever been in those situations, it's hard to keep your hands warm, especially if you have trekking poles. So in the winter, like if you're hiking, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, or whatever, a little liner glove like this and like this is great. What's going to happen is these gloves are going to get wet with sweat, with humidity. So you want to have multiple pairs of these during the day. I would say 2 to 3 pairs. 2 that you can switch out during the day and 1 that you're going to keep warm and only wear in an emergency. This looks really weird. This is some duct tape that I put on here, and the reason I did this was to extend my zipper pull. So when you're in the winter time, I have all my gloves on and everything. Makes it really easy to pull this pull with a glove. I'm not like fumbling around having to take my gloves off to get this pull. So that's why I have this pull on there.